Have you ever felt like there's a hidden pattern to how things work? You know, a single rule that could explain everything from why a company takes off to why an empire crumbles, or even why a simple meal tastes amazing? Well, today we're diving into a really radical idea from our source material, that there is in fact a master equation for reality. And believe it or not, the whole thing starts right in your kitchen.
So let's start with a kind of wild question. What on earth does cooking dinner have in common with building a civilization? I know, it sounds a little strange, but according to the framework we're looking at today, they run on the exact same fundamental operating system. The logic you use at your kitchen counter? Well, it just might scale up all the way to the cosmos.
Okay, so let's start right there, at that kitchen counter. What is a meal, really? It's not just a random pile of ingredients, right? It's a valuable result, what this framework calls essence. And it's created when you take raw potential, stuff like onions, tomatoes, and rice, and you apply a very specific method to them. You apply the recipe. But think about what happens if you don't have that recipe. Without that guiding set of rules, you just have a bunch of separate things sitting on your counter. They aren't magically becoming a meal. In fact, they're slowly going bad. This is just potential with no direction. And that only leads to one thing: chaos or entropy. No value gets created at all.
The recipe, that's the magic. It's the active ingredient, you could say. It's like the gravity of your kitchen. It's the set of rules that provides the alignment, that binds all those separate elements together into something that's coherent, valuable, and, hopefully, delicious. It's the governance that turns decaying potential into a real, sustaining meal.
Now, here's the crucial point. This kitchen logic, it isn't just a clever metaphor. The framework we're exploring today argues that this is literally the operational physics of reality itself, and you can express it in a single, incredibly powerful equation.
And here it is. E equals UD squared. Now, it looks simple. Maybe it even reminds you of another famous equation, but its components represent a really profound shift in how we look at the universe. So let's break down each part, just like we did with the meal.
So what do these letters actually stand for? Well, U is for utility. That's your ingredients. E is for essence. That's the final meal. And D stands for Dean. Now, the source material uses this very specific term, which you can think of as the established order, or more simply, governance, the recipe. Let's dig into each one.
First up, U for utility. This is basically all the raw stuff in the universe. It's the ingredients on your counter, sure, but it's also your time, your money, your company's assets, and nation's natural resources. According to this framework, U is completely passive potential. It's the what, but it has no direction or value on its own. It's just there.
Now for D, or Dean. This is the game changer. This is the active variable. It's your recipe. It's the protocol, the system of rules, the way that you apply to all that raw potential. D is the how. And we're not just talking about rules written down somewhere. We're talking about the active intelligence, the moral alignment that actually shapes the utility.
And all of that brings us to E, the essence. This is the final result. For our meal, it's not just the calories you can measure. It's the nourishment, the enjoyment, the memory of a shared experience. And on a bigger scale, E isn't just profit or military power. It's the lasting value, the wisdom, the moral legacy. The source material argues this essence is the only thing that truly, truly lasts.
All right, you're probably asking the big question right now. E equals U times D times squared. What's with the exponent? Why is governance squared? This right here is where the equation gets incredibly powerful and honestly, pretty revolutionary. The answer is that the effect of governance isn't just additive, it's exponential. A small tweak in the quality of your rules doesn't just make the outcome a little bit better. Oh no, it creates a massive, totally disproportionate change in the final value you get.
Let's go back to the kitchen. Think about it. We've all done this. A tiny mistake in governance, getting the timing wrong by just a minute and burning the onions right at the start, doesn't just make the final dish 1% worse. It can absolutely ruin the entire thing. That one small error in your protocol has this huge, catastrophic effect on the final essence.
And the opposite is also true, which is the exciting part. A tiny, masterful improvement in your governance, like adding the perfect pinch of a certain spice at the exact right moment, can elevate the entire meal from just good to unforgettable. That small, precise adjustment to your protocol exponentially blows up the value. That's the power of D squared.
So, now for the really cool part. Let's take this incredible logic that we've established at the kitchen counter and let's scale it way, way up. Let's move from making a meal to the grand stage of history and see if this equation actually holds true for entire civilizations.
The source material gives us this really stark comparison. First, you have the Pharaoh model. Think about it, massive utility, tons of wealth, huge armies, endless resources. But the governance, the D variable, was super low. It was all based on tyranny, ego, oppression. The equation predicts the outcome perfectly, zero lasting essence. What's left? Just physical ruins in the sand. Now contrast that with the prophet model. Very low utility, hardly any resources, no army. But the governance was exceptionally high, built on principles like justice and truth. And that high D gets squared, creating an almost infinite essence, a legacy that literally changes the course of human history forever.
So what we're really talking about here is a total shift in how we see the world. It's a completely new paradigm, one that moves our focus away from the what and puts it squarely on the how. This chart lays out the difference perfectly. Standard science is often obsessed with the ingredients. It keeps asking, what is reality made of? It's on this quest to find the ultimate building block, the God particle. But this new framework, what the sources call governance physics, focuses on the recipe. It asks a different question. How does reality behave? Its quest isn't for a particle. It's for the God protocol, the underlying operating system.
And this quote just nails the core argument. Scientists are smashing protons together in these massive colliders, searching for the ingredient of gravity, some little particle called a graviton. But this framework says they might be looking for the wrong thing entirely. Gravity isn't an ingredient, it is the recipe. It's not just a force that bends space, it's the fundamental rule of governance that binds all that potential into a coherent reality. And that's the whole paradigm shift right there. The most fundamental force in the universe isn't a particle, it's a protocol. It's this invisible governance, this dean, that keeps reality from just flying apart into chaos. It's the cosmic operating system telling all the raw utility, all the you, how to behave, how to interact, and what to become.
So let's bring this all home. What does this actually mean for us? Why does shifting from a universe of things to a universe of rules even matter? Let's distill this down to the key takeaways.
First, governance isn't just some abstract idea for boardrooms and politicians. It's a fundamental force of nature, just like gravity. Second, real lasting value doesn't come from having more stuff, more you, but from perfecting how you manage what you already have, your D. Third, this means we're not just spectators, we're active participants. Our personal choices, our own governance, directly shapes the essence that gets created around us. And finally, this suggests our biggest problems, from climate change to financial collapse, can't be solved by just throwing more money, more you, at them. They are fundamentally failures of governance, D, and they demand a much, much better recipe.
If you're going to remember one thing, let it be this. The core claim here is that reality is governed not by things, but by the rules that connect those things. We're living in a universe that's more about the verbs than it is about the nouns.
And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Is the universe just a collection of objects, a bunch of cosmic ingredients sitting on a counter? Or is it a dynamic system of rules, a grand recipe just waiting to be executed? And if so, what recipe are you going to follow?